Good afternoon and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Ifoma Ojinta. And just to remind you that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website, nta.ng/live, and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo received a delegation of the All Progressives Congress governors who are on a felicitation visit as he recovers from the surgery done last month. Vice President Osinbajo expressed his appreciation for the visit and the good wishes, and also commended the expertise of Nigerian doctors and the availability of cutting-edge medical facilities existing in the country. But he regretted that doctors are restrained by regulations to advertise, and as a result, many people are unaware of the level of quality medical services available locally. Important national issues were also raised, especially regarding the economy and the ASUU strike. Chairman of the Governors Forum, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, speaks briefly to the press after the meeting. Now, the Federal High Court Abuja has dismissed the fresh bail application filed by suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari and others. Justice Emeka Nwite, in a ruling, held that Kyari had not given sufficient grounds for the application to be granted. The court held that the detained police officer failed to raise fresh facts in his latest application after being denied the earlier bail requests. Abba Kyari and others are standing trials on matters relating to narcotics. The matter has been adjourned to October 19 for continuation of trial. The federal government has unveiled a presidential delivery tracker and website that will enable citizens monitor and give direct feedback on the quality and progress of government's projects and programs in their localities. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustapha, says the online delivery tracker will also be used by the Central Delivery Coordinating Unit in his office to monitor the performances of ministries, departments and agencies of government in public service delivery. Mitaire Ikben reports.
The Presidential Delivery Tracker and website is designed by the Central Delivery Coordination Unit, CDCU, in the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation to track the implementation of government programs and projects along the 9 priority areas outlined by the Buhari administration for the purposes of accountability.
On a weekly basis, I submit a report to Mr. President. And I've started serializing the performances of the last quarter of ministries. I've taken 9 ministries so far, and I'll continue until I finish all the way to the 29 ministries and the Office of the Head of Civil Service.
On the flip side, the SGF says the new website is easy to navigate and encourages real-time participation of citizens in governance, as they can search for the status of projects in their localities and upload feedback with pictures on the quality of public services from the comfort of their homes using their smartphones.
We are supposed to be the policemen of these projects in our communities, in our areas, and we are supposed to track it and report the implementation as to whether what is in the budget is what is visible on the ground.
We can realize this commitment and collaborate with all ministries, departments, and agencies to ensure that our country maximizes the essence of this presidential delivery tracker.
To achieve this objective, the CDCU has incorporated a performance management system with that dashboards set up in key offices which serve as tool for measuring MDS performance in real time in the implementation of ministerial deliverables against negotiated targets.
The delivery tracker is an important initiative and should be encouraged across the 3 tiers of government.
We would like to see the measure of trust. To what degree do citizens trust that their engagement with the app will translate to positive outcomes? We want to see the measure of participation. So what percentage of the population will use the app?
Everyone here agrees that the Presidential Delivery Tracker and website represent a strong commitment by the federal government towards transparency, and with this, citizens can demand action if projects and programs are not delivered in their localities. From the press gallery of the State House Conference Center, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Meanwhile, performance orientation in the public sector means that achievements matter as well as financial honesty and economy. Hence, managers of agencies pursue defined standards. This and many other reasons for Imokede Public Sector Performance Index that will cover 10 core ministries for a start. Haman Jabani reports.
The Imokede Public Sector Performance Index seeks to enable accountability through data by providing assessment of ministries, departments and agencies across the country and tracking how effectively they are delivering public goods and services. It is to improve public service delivery and public sector performance index while encouraging citizens' engagement, among others.
When they have evidence on the performance of government, they can see what resources are available to government, what the functions of government are, how government has gone about its policy making, its budgeting, its execution, its regulation. Then we would have more informed national debate.
Because this is the end thing now. Whatever you do is supposed to be measured, because it is what gets measured that gets done. So if this foundation is supporting the government in tracking what we are doing, obviously we feel it will inform the government performance. And then we continue collecting the data, analyzing it so that in the end we come with an informed index that will support the government process.
The index, which is in partnership with National Bureau of Statistics, is expected to provide credible statistics on the public sector that will promote credible-based decision-making, and it is designed, developed and delivered to global standard comparable to any world-class index. The FEX Performance Index will cover 10 core ministries that include finance, budget and national planning, agriculture, health, education, power, works and housing. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
On to education. The latest position taken by ASUU to extend its strike indefinitely has prompted more groups to seek immediate end to the dispute between the union and the federal government. The Arewa Transformational Leaders is the latest to attempt mediating by urging both parties at a media briefing to shift grounds and reach a consensus, as the present situation does not augur well for the country. The group notes that societal ills mostly engaged by the youths who are within the age brackets of the university students will increase if students continue to stay away from school.
Education in general is a critical factor in the nation march towards socio-economic and political development. It is very critical determinant of cultural change for the society as a whole and avenue for personal development and self-actualization.
The Arewa Transformational Leaders therefore urges all patriotic Nigerians to urgently intervene towards mediating to end the FGN ASUU dispute and the reopening of universities to ensure the educational development of Nigeria. And with me now in the studio to talk more on the indefinite ASUU strike is the convener Movement for a New Nigeria, Dr. Abubakar Alkali. It's good to have you, sir, nationwide.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Okay. Now, ASUU has declared an indefinite strike after they down-tooled for about 6 months. What's your take on this?
Yeah, it's actually a very critical and serious problem. And I think a lasting solution should be found. Actually, it's getting, too prolonged. It's coming in almost every year. We have had ASUU strikes in the last 22, 23 years, 16 times.
Oh.
And we have lost like 1,497, work days from strikes.
Okay.
And you see, I look at this from the angle of the law. What does the law say? Yes, workers have, the prerogative to press for demands, to press for better conditions of service and whatnot. But then also, strikes are not part of contracts entered to, by the lecturers. And that is to say, looking at the, aspect of the law, strikes are actually notice of, disengagement from service, more or less. Yes, strikes are actually breaches of contract because strikes was not signed in the. There are actually bodies that are set up, by the government, by the nation to attend to this. We have the industrial arbitration panel. We have the industrial court. So why don't ASUU or the federal government, both of them, why don't they go to court and seek an interpretation of these demands? You see, we cannot be doing this all the time. We should have a final solution. We should have a lasting solution. And that is why I'm saying in an article I wrote recently, I'm saying that if the lecturers are not ready, are not happy, this is an employer-employee relationship. If the lecturers are not happy with what they are doing, the government should disengage the lecturers and give them an option to reapply. Yes, it is. Okay. It sounds funny, but I think it's an option.
So in this case, will we be having a lasting solution to the problem by doing this?
Absolutely. The government is the employer of the lecturers. This is an employer-employee relationship. It's not true that government is not the employer of universities. Government funds universities and runs universities through the NUC and the Federal Ministry of Education. So the government can disengage these lecturers and give everybody the option to reapply based on new conditions of service. If you are happy, you put pen to paper, and if you are not, you look elsewhere.
Let's still talk about the law. What does it say about the no work, no pay? Is it applicable in this case?
Absolutely applicable, because these are civil servants and they are public servants. They are binded by the law. Now, the Trade Union Act 2005, in section 42, subsection 1, says strikes are, breaches of contract, and whoever goes on strike is not entitled to salary within the period of cessation of work. And we have seen this so many times. Even the University of Ilorin, you remember the Court of Appeal ruling on University of Ilorin lecturers. You see, there are so many jurisdictions, that say, both in the public and private sector, that says whoever goes on strike is not entitled to any pay, either salary or allowance, within that period. And to this extent, the lecturers are not entitled to any salary arrears. But you see, I'm not saying that the government has no right to do what it feels it wants to do. If the government feels it can bend the rules and pay ASUU, that is left for the government. But you ask me for the position of the law, and the law is clear that you are not entitled to a pay, either salary or allowance, within the period of strike.
Let's talk a little bit about funding of tertiary institutions. How best do you think these institutions can be funded for optimal performance?
Yeah, well, you have to look at it from two angles. Now, the first one is obviously government is supposed to be an enabler to create the enabling environment, for things to work. Now, that is to say, you can start thinking of privatizing the universities to make them more effective. But then again, on the other hand, if you privatize them, will the average Nigerian be able to afford it? Will the average Nigerian be able to send their children to the universities? So to this extent, for now, the government has to continue funding these universities. But at the same time, the government should encourage the universities to look inwards. In an article I wrote on this issue, I actually, propose that the government can do a test run, pick one university, and then privatize it. Okay. And let's see how it goes.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Abubakar Kali, convener, Movement for a New Nigeria. It's been a pleasure having you share your thoughts on the ASUU indefinite strike with us on Nationwide.
Thank you so much, and always happy to be here.
All right. Now, Adiola is in Lagos with the next set of stories on Nationwide. Hello, Adiola.
Hello, Ifoma. Good to see you. Lagos State government will continue to forge partnership and commit resources to ensuring that tuberculosis and other killer diseases are eradicated across the metropolis. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu made the pledge at an event organized by International Coalition on Global Eradication of Tuberculosis in Lagos. Musa Toliat completes the report.
Going by the World Health Organization statistics, not less than 1/4 of the world's population, approximately 1.9 billion people, are infected with tuberculosis. The report further shows that Nigeria ranks first in Africa with the highest burden of the disease and sixth amongst 30 countries globally. Although United Nations high-level meeting set 2030 as target year to end tuberculosis globally, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu says only collaboration with organized private sector can effectively help check the scourge of the disease, especially for reported cases.
Once it hurts that it can indeed be infected, his children can be infected, his wife can be infected, the awareness became a lot stronger, right? And he could indeed take up the responsibility and do something.
One main focus of the public-private partnership is to mobilize funds to aid sustainable diagnosis and treatment of tuberculosis and make preventable therapy available across the state.
Which understood that actually TB is such a threat. You don't need to worry for TB if it doesn't kill your people, right? But if you understand that there are 2 planes every day crashing in Nigeria, because of TB, and people lose their life, you need to do something about that if you care.
Out of the $373 million needed for TB response in 2020 in Nigeria, only 31% was available for implementation of TB control activities.
In recognition of his commitment to effective healthcare delivery, Governor Sanwo-Olu was named Tuberculosis Champion for Africa. In Lagos, Musa Tolian, NTA News.
The first few minutes following a road crash or other emergencies have been identified to be critical to the survival of victims. Following this realization, stakeholders in emergency management under the auspices of Health Emergency Initiative are drawing attention to the need to cut losses by equipping ordinary Nigerians with skills for intervention in emergencies. Adeniyi Taiwo reports that 350 people have so far been trained as lay first responders in Lagos State.
3 million deaths recorded through road crashes globally. A whopping 93% of that grave figure occur in low and medium income countries, according to the World Health Organization. A huge number of such casualties is deemed to be avoidable where there is a timely and quality post-crash emergency intervention.
Right now, the first aid kit is in my patrol.
All the stakeholders in emergency management who gathered here are not only bothered by this alarming figure, but are united in the belief that equipping ordinary Nigerians who are not medical professionals with basic skills as first responders would help to roll back the numbers. This simulation offers graphic procedures taught at the lay first responders training. Already, 350 out of the 1,000 targeted for year 2022 have been trained as lay first responders.
You are at the scene of the accident. Being a trained person to some extent, you should be able to do one or two things with the accident victim and the environment.
You bring somebody to the hospital, they expect you to pay. But with an initiative like this, you don't need to be afraid because the police are involved.
Making more disciples of first emergency responders out of more Nigerians is the new goal, with funding, publicity, and building more coalition highlighted as the way to go.
When there's a crash, that's not the end of someone's life. If there are collaborative efforts, which Federal Road Safety Commission actually stands on the front line, but government alone cannot do it.
So in months like that, where there are higher traffic injury rates, we can have first responders everywhere, especially in Lagos State, that are there to train, there to serve people.
For the Federal Road Safety Corps, this scheme resonates with its National Post-Crash Initiative.
So anywhere FRSC is not available, these are the first line of first responders that are always available to attend to the victims. So this has assisted in improving our response time of 15 minutes to even as low as 5 minutes.
The trainees are expected to train others in order to deepen the culture of timely emergency response among Nigerians. In Lagos, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
And those are the stories from Lagos for now. But please be reminded that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screens for updates. Nationwide will continue with a delectable Ifoma in Abuja after this timeout. Don't go away.
Nigerians, elections are here again. Let us shun violence. Let us play the game according to the rules. Do not be a thug. Say no to violence. Let's rise and defeat violence, crime, and sabotage against the peace of our nation. Nigeria is the only country we have. We must do everything to keep it united. We must avoid any act that promotes hate and disintegration. Say no to separatist movement, terrorism, fake news, hate speech, religious bigotry, and any act that tends to divide us as a nation. Watch out for strange gatherings and suspicious movements. Restrict access to sensitive documents and data, the disclosure of which may damage national security. Educate your staff and family, particularly on measures to safeguard information and report security breaches. Apply relevant legal security guidelines to protect yourself and your neighbors. Due to misinformation and wrong choices, some idle persons resort to vices in their greed to get rich quick. They resort to kidnapping, killings for rituals, and other heinous crimes. Avoid wrong use of the social media. Before you broadcast that false message, think twice. Ask whether it will promote peace or violence. For safety at home, still be security conscious. Educate your household on safety tips. Report all suspicious movements and persons to the security agencies nearest to you. Be a good citizen. Be patriotic. To pass security information, please call 0813-222-2105, 0915-339-1309, 0908-837-3514, or send a mail to dsspr@dss.gov.ng. This message is from the Department of State Services, DSS.
What is happening? Your eyes are red. You are armed with a machete and a gun.
See, I am angry and I can't even contain it. See,
oh, my guy, calm down, calm down.
See, Oga, I have planned to go and destroy these people's businesses in the city. I have to retaliate for what they've done at our own place. They cannot be attacked and have it now, never.
If you destroy their business here, and they destroy that of those close to you over there, especially that your brother who sends you steady cash, how would you survive? Would your dreams be on hold?
See, what you're saying is correct, but I'm still angry.
The best way is to embrace peace. With peace and unity,
my people, let us embrace peace and unity. Let's learn to live as brothers and sisters for a progressive, prosperous nation. This message is brought to you from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Imagine any society without laws. Imagine piles of laws without the courts to interpret them. Imagine lots of interpretation without a medium to bring them to your doorstep. The scale, the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, helps to fill the gaps and turns law and justice into a tangible instrument for national development. That is the scale, and it is.
Thanks for staying tuned. It has come to the notice of the Nigerian Television Authority (NTA) that one Jama Life investment platform has been using the name of the authority on Facebook to advertise a certain business investment that it fraudulently claims yield 300% interest within 45 minutes. NTA wishes to categorically dissociate itself from the so-called Jama Life investment platform and want the public to stay clear of such a fraudulent online offer. NTA's mandate does not include such. Even its subsidiaries that engage in other activities do not use NTA's logo, as they have theirs that indicate who and what they are. Once again, NTA is dissociating itself from the fraudulent Jama Life investment platform and advises the public to ignore it. To security now, our fighting patrol team led by the General Officer commanding 1 Division Nigerian Army, Major General Taurid Lagbaja, has eliminated 1 bandit and arrested 3 others. A statement by the spokesperson, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, says the GOC, accompanied by a team of operational commanders and operatives, cleared bandits in Buruku, Udawa, Manini, Beningwari, Doka, Maganda, Kuyelo and Dogondawa communities in Kaduna states while on a fighting patrol on Monday, 29th August 2022. During the engagements, the patrol team overpowered the bandits with superior firepower, forcing some of the criminal elements to escape with gunshot wounds. The team recovered 1 AK-47 rifle, 27 rounds of 7.62 mm special ammunition, and 18 motorcycles. The Army is urging members of the public, particularly health facilities and paramedics, to watch out for persons who may be seeking medical attention for gunshot wounds and report to security agencies. Meanwhile, in an effort to end crude oil thefts, illegal oil bunkering and pipeline vandalism in the nation, the federal government has commissioned 8 NSCDC gunboats to wage a full-scale war against the perpetrators of this heinous crime. In a statement, the Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, said the move is to strengthen the combative capacity of NSCDC anti-vandalism squad in stemming the tide of huge revenue loss to the federal government in the oil sector. Aregbesola said the country in recent past had recorded various occurrences of crude oil theft, and reports has shown that the country loses millions of dollars daily, such that of the 141 million barrels of oil produced in the first quarter of year 2022, only 132 million barrels of oil were received at export terminals. The aftermath results further reveal that over 9 million barrels of oil was lost to crude oil thefts. He called on all security agencies to shun interagency rivalries and synergize by supporting the fight against oil theft in order to salvage and rid the nation's economy of saboteurs. Now, 3 suspects have been arrested by the Adamawa State Police Command in connection with the killing of a corps member, Samaila Sabo Awudu, recently in Yola. Usman Mukhtar reports that the deceased was attacked at his lodge at night.
Late Samaila Sabo Awudu, who hails from the Mudawa village in Mukari local government area of Taraba State, is a serving corps member at Ilkanini College of Islamic Theology, Yola, Adamawa State, as a chemistry teacher. He was attacked and macheted in his room by suspected burglars on 14th August 2022 and carted away some valuables. The deceased was then rushed to the Modibo Adama University Teaching Hospital, Yola, for urgent medical attention and later died.
The case was reported to our headquarters in Abuja, and our Director General, Brigadier General M.K. Fada, came immediately to assess the situation himself. So he met with the state governor, and the state governor then promised that the perpetrators of the evil will be arrested.
Arrests were equally met, but it was very unfortunate that when he was found, he was unconscious to the extent that he cannot even talk or to make a statement that will going to assist the police in their own investigation. But notwithstanding, the command is doing everything legally possible to unravel the perpetrators of this heinous crime.
The Adamawa State government has reiterated its commitment to ensure safety and welfare of co-members in the state.
This very ugly incident that has happened is not something we would want other coppers that would want to come and serve in Adamawa to worry about. It's a one-off incident. Adamawa State is a very peaceful state.
The remains of late co-member was laid to rest at his hometown, Gindin Dorawa, in Ukari local government area of Taraba State. In Yola, Usman Mukhtar, NTA News.
In the meantime, tactical operatives attached to 42 Police Mobile Force Squadron Gusau in collaboration with Vigilante Group have successfully rescued 12 kidnapped victims in Zamfara State. The victims, comprising 7 women, 3 men and 2 babies, hail from Rungawa village in Talata Mafara local government area of the state and were rescued near Kare Kunkaka forest during joint security operations in the area. The victims rescued on hot were abducted following terrorist attack on their village about 1 month ago. A statement issued by the spokesman for Zamfara State Police Command, SP Shehu Muhammad, says the rescued persons have been medically checked, debriefed and reunited with their families. The statement quoted Zamfara State Commissioner of Police Yusuf Kolo as congratulating the kidnapped victims for regaining their freedom and assuring them of the command's commitment to apprehend the perpetrators of the dastardly acts. Now, 30th of August every year is set aside by the United Nations as International Day of the Disappeared Victims of Disappearance. Oben Kamarachuku reports that stakeholders in Abuja are using the day to remind the government and the global community on the need to address the issue of missing persons.
Reports have revealed that there are over 35 active armed conflicts in Africa. Today, with thousands of persons, including children, cross borders and the Mediterranean Sea in search of safety and a better life each year. Persons who undertake such movements often lose their lives or get missing. Stakeholders here are putting in perspectives the issues in line with the international humanitarian and international human rights laws.
The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres has called on member states to fulfill the responsibility of the right to know, stating that under international human rights law, families and societies have a right to know the truth about what happened.
That the victims of disappearance are not only those who go missing. Behind every missing person, there is an entire family struggling with the multiple consequences this has on their lives.
This is an issue that deserves greater attention and response around the world. The Nigerian Red Cross Society, working with the ICRC, will continue to draw global attention to the stories behind those who go missing, as well as make effort to provide answers.
We are going to institutionalize the IDD program, and hence we are going to take the following steps. 1, we are creating a desk for the missing. And this has already been done last week.
The stakeholders also pointed to collaboration of relevant agencies in raising awareness on the missing persons and the plight of their families. In Abuja, Umika Marchku, NTA News.
The full utilization and deployment of space technology through responsive synergy by relevant agencies is key in winning the war against insurgency in Nigeria. Adebola Brookslyn was at a lecture on transportation terrorism in Nigeria, implications, countermeasures, and space technology solutions, organized by the Nigerian Institution of Space Engineers.
The attack on the Kaduna-Abuja passengers train by insurgents necessitated the need for a robust and effective method in tackling insecurity. These experts in space science, engineering, and technology are here to explore ways of deploying space technology to tackle insecurity in the country. Director General, National Space Research and Development Agency, NASDA, Dr. Ali Lushaba, represented and other key players affirmed that Nigeria's space technology has what it takes to tackle all forms of insecurity bedeviling the nation.
There should be a coordinating team, probably in the office of the NSA, that can make things work better. So if we have that coordination team, all the agencies will now have their control under the NSA.
If you are talking of terrorism hotspots, satellites will detect wherever they are, using the necessary payloads.
The lecture, which was cascaded into a dialogue, arrived at a consensus that Nigeria must invest more in its space technology to fast-track the expected success in the fight against insurgency.
This technology can come in and provide a readily usable technology that would allow in the detection of threats, both from a preventative as well as from an offensive point of view.
The lecture is the 6th of the Brigadier General Agu lecture series. Adebola Brookslyn, NTA News.
More than 70 women, including wives and widows of police officers, have benefited from an empowerment scheme organized by the National President's Police Officers' Wives Association, POWA, in Makurdi, Benue State. National President POWA, Hajara Alkali Baba, says the program is born out of the desire to empower police officers at home through their wives. Grace Ichekwa has details.
The distribution of empowerment items is part of activities carried out by the National President, Police Officers' Wives Association, POWA, Hajara Alkali Baba, during her 5-day working visit to Benue State. While distributing the items, the wife of the Inspector General of Police says the gesture is expected to motivate officers and men of the command to redouble their efforts in discharging their duties.
When I came on board, there was no POWA nationally, and the gentleman, my husband, the 21st Indigenous Inspector General of Nigerian Police, he brought back POWA. He reviewed POWA. The idea behind it is part of my 3 key points agenda, which is education, health, and welfare. So this is the welfare aspect.
Godia Ayuba, a widow and mother of 3, who is a beneficiary, appreciated the National President of POWA for the gesture and says the items will raise her economic standard.
I will go learn how to show. They go help me with my children. I thank God. God bless her.
I'm very happy. I'm so excited. So that I'll be able to take care of my family as a widow so that I will not suffer, my children will not suffer.
The POWA president, during her 5-day working visit, also led members to a fitness walk within Makurdi Metropolis and also participated in sanitation exercise within the police barracks. In Makurdi, Grace Anyalewa, Ichekwa, NTA News.
It's now time for another break. We'll be back shortly. Please stay.
So, it's life. Once you lose hope, you lose life. Once people get lifted to a certain level, they start feeling godlike.
What would you attribute this backwardness in education to in the North to date?
What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong.
The program is reflection.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide a company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Preview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Harmony of biodiversity destroyed, both in climate crisis and crime phases.
Dicey situation indeed, yet we carry on like a bull in a china shop.
On environment matters, we take the bull by the horns, comb the nooks and cranny of Nigeria.
Asking tough questions,
examining challenges and opportunities,
giving human face to the science, facts, facts, and global agreements. It's a call for action. Don't miss it.
Join award-winning environmental journalist Jennifer Igwe and other NTA eco reporters for Environment Matters.
Welcome back. Now, beginning from mid-2023, Nigeria is going to stop importation of petroleum products. Group Managing Director and Chief Executive of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited, Mele Kyari, said this at the 49th session of the State House press briefing. Benny Adams reports.
The man behind the microphone is Mele Kyari. He is at the center of Energy for Today and Energy for Tomorrow initiative of the new NNPC.
To be able to reliably deliver energy while continuously creating value for our stakeholders and our shareholders particularly, which is all of us in this country.
He says Nigeria's dependence on importation of petroleum products will soon be a thing of the past.
When we are done with our own refineries and the Dangote refinery, very many other small initiatives that we are doing, small modular condensate refineries that we are building, if that happens, and we are very optimistic it will happen, you will see that this country will now be a net exporter. As a matter of fact, it will be a hub of export of petroleum products, not just to the West African sub-region, but to the rest of the world. This will happen. The flow of supply will change. By middle of next year, it will change.
He is of the view that even if 4 refineries in 3 locations are operating at 90% of installed capacity, they will only be able to raise 18 million litres of premium motor spirit, which will not meet present daily consumption of more than 74 million litres. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
The federal government has reiterated its commitment towards the provision of more infrastructure and the maintenance of existing ones for the development of the country. Senator Obinna Ogba made this known when he led the Senate Committee on the Federal Road Maintenance Agency FEMA on oversight function to Enugu. Chimaroke Ugu has details.
The Senate Committee on FEMA, while on inspection of intervention works in Enugu, commended the proactiveness of the agency in rescuing affected roads, especially within Ogu local government area of the state.
The quality of the job is what is important. I have already appreciated that the committee will be ready to support them to make sure that money was made available for them to complete the job.
The Federal Road Maintenance Engineer Enugu State maintained that these repair works will ameliorate the sufferings of the people and improve their standard of living.
And the road cuts across so many communities. So the road is very important. As you had the community appreciating, government should allocate more funds. There are still some very bad sections that are along this road that we need to recover.
Beneficiaries of these projects appreciated the efforts of the federal government and promised to make good use of the infrastructure.
The situation was deplorable and terrible. This bridge and other bridges are life-saving projects. Our people are very grateful to the federal government for this intervention.
The committee is expected to continue the tour to other zones of the country. In Enugu, Chimaroke Ugu, NTA News.
A strategic bridge linking Damaturu, the Yobe state capital, and Gujba local government area has been washed away by the recent flash floods occasioned by heavy downpour. Located at Katab local government area, the bridge once played a critical role in the liberation of communities by the Nigerian military from Boko Haram insurgents. Correspondent Unisa Suleiman reports that the court area of the states. Kingsley Ononiwo reports.
Stakeholders meeting was convened in Itsalangwa South local government area to chart a new beginning for the survival of the party. The governorship candidate of the party, Chivike Chiemenike, and other stakeholders highlighted the importance of reconciliation among aggrieved members.
What unites us is by what matter of what should divide us. Please, let's all come together.
Point of the event was the declaration by the Forum of APC widows in the local government area to mobilize for new members that will help the party to record victory at all levels in the 2023 general elections. In another development, the Abia State APC governorship candidate, Chifemenike, in his speech after official unveiling of his running mate, Gloria Akara, at another stakeholders meeting held in Item, bent the local government area of the state, enjoined party members to always abide by the rules and regulations of the party. In Umahia, King Silion Oniwu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, different political movements with similar objectives geared towards building a formidable structure ahead of the 2023 general election has been inaugurated. The groups christened all APC registered groups for Tinubu Shetima says ahead of the lifts on campaign ban, the body of support groups intend to raise awareness on collection of PVC and voter education.
In readiness for this task ahead, RIG has constituted structures in all the 774 local governments, wards, state, and the Federal Capital Territory, in readiness for the election of our incoming president. We are sensitizing all APC members on the need to collect their PVC cards from various INEC offices across the country.
The group says APC as a party has provided enabling environments for party men and women to thrive and demonstrate commitment in deepening internal party democracy. The National Working Committee of the African Democratic Congress ADC has convened a strategic meeting with the party's governorship candidates and their running mates for the 2023 general elections. The meeting held at the ADC National Headquarters in Abuja also had officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC in attendance. The meeting resolved to extend the tenure of its national officers as it also inaugurates a committee to take charge of the affairs of the party's governorship candidates.
And we have resolved that we keep, this our party intact, full completely our support in the National Working Committee of the party, and we urge every candidate, whether he is presidential, gubernatorial, we are vying for Senate, we are vying for House of Representatives, to first and foremost be loyal to this party.
National chairman of the party, Ralph Musu, who inaugurated the committee, says the meeting is designed to work out modalities for the emergence of ADC as #1 political party in Nigeria. The 28 governorship candidates were presented certificates of return. And away from politics to health, adherence to antenatal care and nutritional values for expectant mothers, experts say, are key to combating issues arising from maternal illnesses that predispose delivery of premature babies. Ijoma Uguoke in this report has raised factors responsible for underweight babies.
Pregnancy outcomes are greatly affected by a woman's social demographic, obstetrics, and medical care. This forms the reason the World Health Organization recommends a minimum of 4 antenatal visits for each pregnancy. This is to safely identify and prevent the complications of high-risk pregnancy to ensure positive outcomes for both mothers and the babies.
Antenatal is beneficial to us because it helps us to relate, to understand our babies in the womb, because whatever issue we're having or whatever questions we're having is an opportunity for us to discuss with the doctor, for the doctor to actually explain what is going on in our system.
Medical experts say some pregnancy present high risk factors which are preventable and maintain that maternal illnesses such as high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney problem, malaria, and urinary tract infections, amongst others, can predispose premature labor, resulting to delivery of underweight babies, just as baby Hosford Israel, who was delivered at 24 weeks on 0.84 kg.
So it's an extremely premature baby. Now, the problems with such babies are the fact that all their organs are very immature. First challenge is they cannot cope with cold. So such babies have to be managed in an incubator. They cannot even feed because the gastrointestinal system is very immature. It cannot handle feed. So they have to be put on some form of nutrition through their veins.
While government is making efforts on reducing number of infant and maternal mortality, it has become imperative that women avail themselves the opportunity of quality care provided during their antenatal period to avert negative eventualities. In Port Harcourt, Ijomu Gweke, NTA News.
Up next is Sports Update with Gift Judge.
Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dare has met with the Nigerian football club owners to enhance the league.
Is the need to hunker down and start to apply the rules as they should be applied.
Head coach of Nigerian's female under-17 side has called up 35 players to camp in Abuja ahead of the 7th FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup taking place in India in October. The Flamingos defeated DR Congo, Egypt and Ethiopia to qualify for the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. Still on football, winners have emerged at the 2022 Lagos FA Cup, which ended at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena on Nikon, Lagos. In the first match, Robo Football Club beat Danas Ladies by 4 goals to nothing to retain their title as Lagos FA Cup champions, as well as getting the trophy for a record 12th time. In the men's final, Danas Football Club beat Otasolo by 3 goals to 1 to be crowned champions.
We have grassroots teams coming to the top of the FA Cup. The FA Cup is a giant killing competition.
To Power Sports, in a bid to grow the game of power-sitting volleyball in the country, the World Power Volleyball Africa has organized its first Level 1 course for referees and coaches. The program, which had theoretical and practical sessions, had about 54 participants from Nigeria, Ghana, and Benin Republic.
It's the World Power Volley certification that will enable them to, anywhere in the world to officiate.
To tennis, the second edition of the Futures Tennis Tournament has ended at the Lagos Lawn Tennis Club. The week-long developmental tennis program, organized by the International Tennis Academy, was in the under 10, 12, 14, and 16 categories.
Behind every successful athlete is a team, and that team begins with the parents.
Boxing enthusiasts have stressed the need to have standard facilities for Nigerian boxers. This was the focus of the 121st edition of the Lagos Boxing Show.
We need a good gym for us to train the boxers.
10 bouts featured in various weight categories, including the juniors. With sports updates, Gift George, NTA News.
And that concludes Nationwide. We thank you for watching. Remember to join the NTA in the campaign against rape and rapists. I am Ifoma Ojinta. Bye for now.